ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। अंतर्ज्योतिर्बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात् परः ज्योतिर्ज्योतिः स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः शिवोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om and my salutations to one and all. The Deepavali Utsav is coming up. Wish you all a very Shubh Deepavali. Today in this satsang, I thought let us reflect upon the cultural traditions of this festival of Deepavali. That what is this festival all about actually? Because in the march of time, many things change, and what it starts off with and what it transforms into completely changes. So Deepavali, Deepa means lamp, Avali means a row of lamps. So Deepavali. Now that Deepavali has become Diwali. In the earlier days, Deepavali had many other names also. So some of the names are like this: Deepavalika, then Sukharatri, the night where Lakshmi ji is worshipped, that is called Sukharatri, Yaksharatri, Sukha Suptika, and some places in our country it was also called as Kaumudi Mahotsav. 3 days are very important in this Kaumudi Mahotsav: the Chaturdashi, the Amavasya, and then the Pratipada. These 3 days, lot of festivities happen. So that is called Kaumudi Mahotsav. Now, Deepavali, there are many things which happen, but some of the things which are key to this festival are worship of Lakshmi Devi, Bali Puja, Yama Tarpan, celebration of the victory of Lord Krishna over Narakasura, Dyuta Krida, Abhyanga Snana, and also the Yamadvitiya, where the exchange of brotherly, sisterly love and affection happens. And in all these, the firebrand is important. Now, many of this we don't know today. That why are we doing it? Why we were doing any of this? So many people, we celebrate Deepavali in a very different way today. There's nothing wrong in enjoying, but we should also know what was this meant for, the whole festival. So let us see one by one now. This, according to different Puranas, I'm going to share. So Padma Puran, Skanda Puran, Bhavishyotter Puran, like that in different Puranas, this certain things are given here. So the 13th day, that is the Tithi, Trayodashi. Today we are celebrating Trayodashi as Dhanteras. And many people say that Lakshmi Devi was born from the ocean on this day, so we celebrate as Dhanteras. Actually, it is not. Puranas don't say that. Lakshmi Devi, just a few days back, we celebrated when we concluded our Shri Suktam. That was the day where Lakshmi Devi was supposed to have manifested from the Samudra Manthan. Dhanteras is not the day as per the Puranas. Folklore and other things we may celebrate, that's a different matter. And Lakshmi Puja is actually supposed to be done on the Amavasya day. Anyway, I'm coming to those points now. So on the Trayodashi day, the celebrations begin from the second half of Trayodashi day. So on the Trayodashi day, what has to be done? Lamps have to be lit in honor of Yamraj to avoid accidental death. So lamps are lit. Many places you will see from Trayodashi onwards, the lamps, they will start lighting outside the house. Inside also, but outside definitely they keep. So that is for avoiding accidental death. There are certain shlokas also which one chants. Then on the 14th day, that is the Chaturdashi day, that is called Naraka Chaturdashi. Now it is called Naraka Chaturdashi because of two reasons. Many people are afraid of going to hell. You know, why should we be afraid of going to hell? If we have done adharma only, then we should be afraid of going to hell. Otherwise, why should one go to hell? If I have lived a dharmic life, I have done satkarmas, there is no fear of going to hell. But when we have not done our duties, we have done adharma, we have done dushkarma, then at some point there is a fear that what will happen to the jiva after the body is dropped. Yamayatana will happen and it is going to be painful in the Naraka and all that. So that Naraka bhaya is there. So traditionally speaking, it is said that that is the day where one worships Lord Yama and seeks his grace and blessings to avoid the yatana of Naraka. Now Naraka is at three levels. Please remember that. One is the Naraka which is subjective, which is adhyatmic, where it is what I said, dushkarma we have done. So negative tendencies, agitations, reactions, all those are Naraka. One person came to Gurudev and he was very scared. He was crying. He was saying, Swamiji, please save me. I don't want to go to hell. Please save me. He said, why you don't? There's no question of you not going to hell. You are already in hell. Meaning the mind which is disturbed of yours, you are already in hell. So that disturbance of the mind is the subjective hell. Disharmony in the society outside, agitations, violence, disturbances, there is no proper peace for growth and development to happen, then that is Naraka at the Adi Bhautik level. And there is a Naraka at Adi Daivik level, which is a level of consciousness where the jiva experiences certain results of the actions after dropping the body. Now this Naraka has to be, one has to go away from Naraka. And whole life we do that only. We want to go away from pain and sorrow and we want happiness. Death also we are not scared of as long as that death is not painful. People say, Swamiji, I don't have fear of dying. It just should not be painful. Pain, sorrow, suffering, I can't deal with. Just body drops, no problem. I am ready to let go. At some point, one becomes ready also. One prepares enough of this body now. I just want to drop and I just want the life to end. But one doesn't want pain. So Naraka Yatana is there in every human heart. The freedom from that Naraka Yatana is supposed to be the objective of Naraka Chaturdashi. So there, what should one do? So Abhyanga Snan. So these 3 days, one has to do oil bath every day. Abhyanga Snan means oil bath. This Naraka Chaturdashi, Amavasya and Pratipada, on these 3 days, one should do Abhyanga Snan. So one takes the oil bath and this Apamarga tree which is there, using that, the leaves, one chants a certain mantra. That mantra also has been given here. Hara papam apamargam Bhramya mana punah punaha Apadam kilbisham chapi mama pahara sarvashaha. That this, oh Apamarga tree, you please remove this papa. And because of this papa, Brahmyamana Puna Punaha. Again and again, I am going through the cycle of birth and death. And also remove Apadam, any obstacles, problems, Kilbisham, all our negativities and sins. Mam Apahara. Please remove all this from my life. It is a day of transformation to let go of our negative tendencies. That is the lamp I have to light of transformation. The first lamp I have to light is lamp of transformation. Before that lamp of transformation I light is the lamp of repentance. I repent that array I have done. I accept I made mistakes or I did knowingly, unknowingly some duskarma I have done. Bhagwan, please help me. I don't want to go again and again the cycle of birth and death because of this pravritti. That is the papa. And you know, Ramana Maharshi said very beautifully, the Naraka, one who believes that I am the body, that body consciousness is Naraka. And the ego, which feels that I am this body, that ego is Narakasura. So the original sin, what they call in Bible, original sin. The original sin is I don't know who am I. Now I think I am the BMI. Now that is called the Papa. Real Papa is that. The Jiva Bhav, Dehatma Bhav, that is real Papa. And based on that, now I have done other Papa. So first is the lamp of repentance. I say, okay, I may have done knowingly, unknowingly through the year. Oh Bhagwan, please help me. I accept I made a mistake. I repent. I want to transform. So taking the oil bath, one does this. Now, why one takes this oil bath? Because the belief is on these 3 days, Lakshmi resides in oil and Ganga resides in water. So lamps of oil, when they are lit, that is also the symbol of lamp of prosperity, no doubt. But oil, when we take bath with, what does it mean? Wealth of values, virtues. I cleanse myself with the values and virtues. That's the meaning. Abhyanga Snan means that, actually. It may have physical benefits also, you know, do the malish and all, and body gets very, what do you call, you know, young, the skin becomes supple, and then you expose yourself to the sun, then you get a certain vitamin D and all that stuff one can do. But the symbolic meaning is beautiful. That bath with these values, repent, change the mindset, and live a transformed life. So Abhyanga Snana is done with his Apamarga tree, Apamarga tree, and with the cloud of some soil. So the soil and Apamarga tree, that mixture is made and then one applies on the body. Then one takes bath. So Gangaji is again symbol of bhakti, jnana, seva. So washes oneself, purifies oneself. Then what has to be done? Not only save me from Naraka, but save my ancestors also. This is where Yama Tarpan comes in. Now, what one has to do after that? One should take water in the Anjali and one should offer which? Till oil. So the lamp is lit with till oil. One takes bath also with till oil. If you do with groundnut oil, that is your choice. The Shastra is saying till oil. One should take bath with that till oil and then one should light the lamps also with till oil. What is it called in English? I don't know. Till is what? Sesame oil. Whatever, sesame oil. From that one takes bath and light the lamp. Then one also prays for one does tarpan. So one takes water mixed with till and one offers that water. That water, when we offer, it is for the ancestor, that is called Yama Tarpan. So the person offers the water to Yamraj and mentions 7 names of Yamraj. So what one should chant? Yamaya dharma rajaya mritya vechantakaya cha vaivasvataya kalaya sarvabhutakshayaya cha audumbaraya dagnaya नीलाय परमेष्ठिने वृकोदराय चित्राय चित्रगुप्ताय वै नमः. So 7 and 7, there are 14 names of Lord Yama. So one chants these names and offers water for the ancestors, that may my ancestors also not go through Yamayatana, the Narakayatana, sorry. They should not go through the Narakayatana. And then it is said, evening, one should light these lamps. So 13th Trayodashi evening, one starts, lights the lamp. Again, Chaturdashi evening, one lights the lamp. Again, Amavasya evening, one lights the lamp. Each evening, one lights the lamp. And one lights the lamp in the temples, on the outside the house, then, in the rooms, various places in the house, in assembly halls, and in public places also, park, well, main roads, women's apartments, shrines of the Siddhas, the great saints and sages, all these places. Now, it is the story of Narakasura got associated later on. So Narakasura is killed by Lord Krishna, and so people said it's Naraka Chaturdashi. But actually it is supposed to be this Yamatarpan which we have to do. And it is on this day that one also lights, one creates long poles and puts certain lamps on the poles, because the belief is all those Pitrus who have come down from the Pitrulok to Bhulok during the Pitrupaksh. So during the Pitrupaksh, when they have come down, especially on the Mahalaya Amavasya, when the Shraddha Karma is done for all the Pitrus, Sarva Pitru Shraddha is done on that day. Now this year, to Adhik Mas also came. Otherwise, those Pitrus who have come down, when the Shraddha etc. is over, then it is the time for them to go back. Today is the day when they return. Today meaning that 14th day. The Chaturdashi day is the day when they return to Pitrulok. To light their way, these lamps are lit on high poles. Ulkadan is done. This Ulkadan is the tradition of crackers. So Ulka is a firebrand. The Tara Mandal and all what we call, no? We may call this sparkles. Today we call them a sparkle. So you light that and then you make shapes with that. So one lights the sparkles and one bursts crackers on the way, celebrating and also lighting their path, as though that you reach your destination. So this crackers is not just for celebration or some enjoyment or amusement. It is a cultural tradition also. And it is a bhavana. Now, please don't bring logic into it suddenly and spoil everything. Don't say that they are in subtle form and this is gross light, how they will see. Who said they can't see? They can see all of us. Everything they can see, they can feel what is there in our mind also, because they are in a subtler form. And it is more a bhavana that we thank you for coming down, blessing all of us, accepting our Shraddha. And now when you are departing, we send you with great celebration, and also that we have prayed to Lord Yama that may you not go through any Durgati. So it is meant for that. See, books like Varsha Kriya Kaumudi and Dharma Sindhu, they very clearly prescribe this. Tula samsthe sahasramshau pradoshe bhritadarshayoho bhutadarshayoho ulka hasta narakuryuhu pitrunam margadarshanam. Ulka hasta narakuryuhu. One should hold this firebrand in their hand and burst some of these crackers in between in the air. Now somebody says, oh, crackers were not there only at that time. This Ulkadan people used to do. They used to light fire. They may not be available in the way in which we have today, but they must have had in their own ways how they are doing. Because even Mundaka Upanishad, that not Mundaka, sorry, Mandukya Upanishad, Alata Shanti Prakarana comes, where the example is of the sparkle only. That, like suppose with the sparkle we create one circle, you rotate it very fast, then actually you will see a circle there of fire, but actually there is no circle. It's just the fast movement which gives the illusion. For a few seconds, even after the movement has stopped, the illusion of circle will be there. That example is given in Mandukya Upanishad by Manduka Rishi, to say that the world is like that. It is not real, it is illusory, it is not even created, in fact, from the highest standpoint. Alata Shanti Prakarana it comes. So this tradition of crackers as we know today, it may not have been there. There is no doubt about that. But it has been there in our culture. Ulkadan is what is supposed to be done. So one holds firebrand and one chants the shloka and prays that may the ancestors go to the Yamalok. And that shloka also is here. Yamalokam parityajya agataye mahalaye ujjalajyotisham vartma prapashyanto vrajantu te. They who have come from that Yamalok, Pitrulok, Yamalok is same. They have come. May they return properly, and for that we are doing this Ulkadan. So on 14th, 15th, and Pratipada, all the 3 days Ulkadan is done. Specifically on this day, on 14th, because that's the Naraka Chaturdashi day. Then that is the night where all the lamps, etc., are lit. And one should also worship Lord Shiva that night, because he is the Lord of all the Bhutas. He is Sarva Bhuta Maheshwaraha, and he is the God of destruction. So one worships Lord Shiva that night. One also worships, and then one takes food only at night. So these 3 days also, the 14th, the Amavasya, and the New Year, they are also days of Upvas. They are not just eat anything, drink anything. They are sadhanamay. Why I am telling all this is because this was what the festival was. Celebration, enjoyment is one aspect of life which we can always do. There is no problem with that. And we anyway do through the whole year. But tapasya, sadhana, bhakti, ekagrata, many of these festivals are meant for that. Now that we have forgotten. And then what has happened? Very frivolous things happen for Deepavali or for any other festival. Also, many traditions we are not aware of, and many people even attack our traditions and our culture and our festivals. So as a result, what people think, these festivals are all useless. They have no respect for our culture, no respect for our festival. The younger generation thinks this is all waste. And at the maximum, one uses it only to enjoy. And what type of enjoyment that also? Drink, party, take drugs. What is the ideal given here? What we practice? Completely different. So we need to revive our traditions. Celebrate as much as you want in a sattvic way, but also do these traditions. These are simple, meaningful. This will not take more than 10-20 minutes. Light the lamps, chant the shloka, have the bhavana, show the ulkadan to the ancestors, burst some green crackers if you like, because we are also Hindus, are adaptable, flexible. It's not that we want to pollute the environment. We worship Mother Prakriti. So let us revive these traditions and bring back these beautiful, meaningful traditions of our festivals. That is a very important aspect of festival celebration. The spiritual aspect, the cultural depth aspect, that is very important. So now that is what happens on the Chaturdashi day. And then yes, some people also worship Lord Krishna because Naraka Chaturdashi. So Narakasura, he was the son of Bhumi Devi. and he became very arrogant and very powerful. He defeated the Devas, he captured 16,000 princes, and he was going to do a yajna where he would offer Bali to all of them, they would all die, and then he would become immortal. So Bhagwan, along with Satyabhama, went there to his Pragjyotishpur, his capital, and that whole Narakasura Vadha is a very powerful story. Symbolically, Bhumi is our body made up of soil, earth, and the son of this Bhumi is this Ahankar. And the 16,000 princes are our thought varieties. So this ego has trapped the 16,000 thought varieties. And now that ego wants to become immortal. Everybody wants to be immortal. One wants glory, power, fame, monopoly. One doesn't want others to rise. All that people seek or not in the world. So Bhagwan comes and destroys that on the wish of Bhumi Devi. Bhumi Devi goes and says, I can't deal with this Narakasura. He's my own son, but he's becoming unbearable. I can't deal with his atrocities. You please end him. Help the help me by killing him. Sadhak has to invoke the divine. Same mind of ours. One is Ahankar and one is a Sadhak Vritti. That has to worship the Lord saying, Bhagwan, help me destroy this. And Bhagwan comes with Satyabhama riding on his Garuda. Krishna and Satyabhama come on the Garuda and they destroy this Narakasura. So ego is destroyed. When this ego is destroyed, the 16,000 princes who were captivated, where will they go? Society is not going to accept them back. They did not accept Sita ji. How will they accept these princes? So there is a precedent already set in Ramayana Kal. So they 16,000 princes, they straight went to Bhagwan saying, Bhagwan, we take your refuge. You have to protect us. Bhagwan married all of them. Now people say, oh, Krishna is a, playboy, he's a flirt and all that stuff. 16,000 princes, he saved them. He didn't marry for lust. And first of all, he is Bhagwan. Everything is his only. So what does it matter? We look at him whenever we want as some human being. So Bhagwan liberated. So this is the day to pray to Bhagwan that, oh Lord, my ahankara is terrible. It is because of his ahankara I keep going to Naraka. You please come with Satyabhama and destroy this. Anchoring in Satya and surrendering to Bhagwan, our ego can be destroyed. Such beautiful bhavnas are there. On Chaudash, we have to do that. Pray to Lord Shiva, pray to Lord Krishna, help, pray to Lord Yama to get out of this ahankar, jiva bhav. Then the Amavasya day. So this Amavasya day is the main day. Main in the sense every day is great day of this festival, 13, 14, 15, and then Pratipada, the new year, then the Bhav Bij, 5 days. Every day is sacred only. So this Amavasya, what one should do, one should light the oil lamps, take the oil bath in the morning. So all the 3 days I said one should take oil bath. That is common in all 3 days. Take the oil bath in the morning, and then one has to perform the Lakshmi Puja. Now the Lakshmi Puja, why is one performing? The reason is that may Lakshmi come into our home, and to remove Alakshmi. Those of you who attended my Sri Suktam, you know Alakshmi is the elder sister of Lakshmi and the opposite of Lakshmi. If Lakshmi is wealth, prosperity, Alakshmi is bad luck, penury, poverty. That is called Alakshmi, and she is called Jyeshtha. She came first from the Samudra Manthan. Before Lakshmi Devi, she came out. Alakshmir me nashayamyaham. In the Sri Suktam also it comes. So that Alakshmi has to be destroyed. Now suddenly we say, what? Why did the Lakshmi come into play now? We were doing Yamatarpan and this, now why Lakshmi came now? So our tradition says that Brahmaji gave one festival as an important festival for one Varna. Though everybody celebrates every festival, but one festival is the main festival of that Varna. So the Raksha Bandhan is the festival, main festival for the Brahmana. Because that day the Yajnopavit will change. Now, of course, please remember, Yajnopavit is changed by everybody who has Yajnopavit. And earlier days, all people used to take Yajnopavit except the Shudra. Not because Shudra is incapable, but because the Shudra temperament is more towards physical work and other things. So the study of the Veda and many of the subtler aspects are not easy for them to practice. So it is not to condemn them. All the three Varnas used to take, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, they were taking. And this was not by birth, it was by temperament and karma, guna and karma. Women also were taking Janev Samskar. They were also chanting Gayatri Mantra. So for them, for all these people, and in that, all of them also, the Brahmana is supposed to be the main, their temperament is suited to the study of the Vedas, performing rites and rituals. That is their speciality. So for them, it is said Raksha Bandhan is the main festival, though others will also celebrate. Then for the Kshatriyas, it is the Vijayadashmi. So again, Brahmana will do puja on Vijayadashmi, but the main utsav is for the Kshatriya because Shastra Puja will be done that day. So Ayudha Puja, Shastra Puja, all that is done on that day. So that is for Kshatriya. For the Vaishya, it is this day, the Amavasya day, when the mother Lakshmi is worshipped, because that is their main profession, where they earn wealth, they create abundance, prosperity in the community. And that's why Lakshmi on that day. And earlier days, we have also seen our financial year used to start in this way. For the business community, the financial year starts now. Now that we follow a specific financial year from 1st April to 31st March, that is become uniform. But otherwise, if you see community wise, then the Vaishya community, for them the new year is now, and that's why they will celebrate also. And our Vikram Samvat, etc., many Gujaratis and others, for us it will start from then, after the Deepavali, after the Amavasya day. So that is why Lakshmi Puja is done. And for the Shudras, it is holy. So each of them have a specific main festival, and others also celebrate, as I said. So that's why Lakshmi Puja is done. So that day one should do the Lakshmi Puja, and the shloka here is about worshipping Lakshmi. The shloka comes here. ईशे भूते च दर्शे च कार्तिक प्रथमे दिने मानवो मंगलस्था मानवो मंगलस्नायी मानवो मंगलस्नायी नैव लक्ष्म्या वियुज्यते. Narad Samhita says this, meaning whoever takes this oil bath in that morning and worships Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi will not go away from there. Alakshmi will go. For Alakshmi to go away, there's separate ritual they will do in the night, that I will tell you. Morning one worships Lakshmi Devi. So it is not supposed to be in the night. It is supposed to be in the morning. Worship the Lakshmi Devi. And then Aarti also is done of the people in the house, that may Lakshmi come and stay. Lakshmi will stay in bright places. Alakshmi will stay in dark places. So that day everywhere light is lit, so that Alakshmi goes and Lakshmi stays. That's why lamp. So first lamp I said is for repentance. Second lamp I said is for transformation. That is on the Chaturdashi day. Earlier day is the repentance, Yamatarpan we do 13th. Second day is for transformation, that is Chaturdashi. This is the lamp for prosperity, abundance, the Amavasya day. Also, on that day, Bhavishyotar Puran says that we should um, take bath in the morning, this oil bath, worship the gods and Pitrus, and also it is said one should do Parvana Shraddha. Again, for the ancestors, for their well-being, the Parvana Shraddha is done with curd, milk, ghee, and do some dan. Then, after this is done, through the day, see the Shastra only saying, through the day, people should enjoy with dance, music, offer tambula to each other, anoint their body with saffron powder, dress themselves in silken robes, wear gold and jewels. Young women move about in groups wearing brilliant clothes. Houses should be full of row of lamps. Handsome maidens should cast rice grains about, and waving of the lamps should be resorted to. That confers victory. So all this one should do. And then in the midnight, what has to happen? All this can happen till the night, midnight. Then midnight, what should happen? You see, people should go out and see the grandeur, because every house will have lamps lit. So see the decoration, see the lamps which are lit, and have fun. When the midnight is past and people feel little drowsy and all that, then what has to be done? You see, women in the city should create great noise by beating winnowing baskets and drums, and should drive out Alakshmi from the courtyard of their houses. Alakshmi has to be driven out. Meaning, see, when we become inalert, you may say, why can't I do this in the morning? The point is that Ratri is a symbol of Tamoguna. Tamoguna is a symbol of Pramada. Pramada means laziness, lethargy, carelessness, indulgence, indolence. All that is called Pramada. So that Pramada, when it comes into our life, that is why all these other problems come. In the Upanishad, that is that Pramado vai mrityuhu. This Pramada is death. Don't we see in the world also? Savdhani hati, durghatna ghati. Even simple accidents happen because of that. Simple accident meaning accidents happen because of that. Little alertness goes. Don't we see that in investment also? Many such things. We are not alert when to put, where to put, when to withdraw. Gone. Money gone. Alertness is very crucial in spiritual life, in material life, in both. So that night, Alakshmi is driven away, and this beating of the drums and lighting of the lamps and all this happens, festivities. That helps Lakshmi to stay back. That's why that Ratri is also called Sukha Ratri. Sukha Ratri is because of Lakshmi Devi. Deepavali Ratri is called Sukha Ratri. That Amavasya night is called Sukha Ratri. Now see the beautiful aspect here. Many people consider Amavasya as inauspicious, but this Amavasya is most auspicious. It is called Sukha Ratri. Alakshmi is driven away. And again, it is said on that day also people should do fast. No one except children or ailing people should take a meal by the day. One should worship Lakshmi and should illuminate a row of lights, shrines of God, squares where four roads meet. And they should decorate the shops. All those things are given here. And they should also do some dan and feed some poor people, hungry people, in places which are surrounded by lamps. And then when they take this dinner in the night, after this worship, everything is over, then only one takes dinner, dressed in some white garments and ornaments. So Nilamata Puran calls this Amavasya night as Sukha Suktika. In Bengal, Mother Kali is worshipped on this day. And it is said that both Lakshmi and Saraswati, Mother Kali embodies both Lakshmi and Saraswati, so they worship. Now, this is on that day that one does. Also, it is said one should speak good words that day. don't curse anybody, don't fight with anybody. So it is said one should honor one's relatives with words of complimentary queries and compliments. Because Lakshmi comes through this Sadvani. Alakshmi comes through this bad Vani, dark places. That is what Shastra says. And there are symbolic meanings also of these deep aspects are there. Now, this is what has to be done on the Deepavali, I mean the Amavasya day. Then we see on the first day after Amavasya, that's called Pratipada, which is actually called Bali Pratipada. So this Swati Nakshatra, you see, the Shastra says that though the 3 days from 14th Tithi are designated Deepavali, but the day on which the Swati Nakshatra it is falling on which day, that is the most auspicious day of all the days. Most of the time it will come during this Bali Pratipada. So on this day also Abhyanga Snana is done. And most important on this Tithi is the worship of Bali Raja. See, Onam we celebrate that Bali Raja visits. Then Vaman Jayanti also we celebrate that Vaman avatar took place. But the day on which Bali was pushed into the earth is this day, it seems. That's why it's called Bali Pratipada, the first day after this Amavasya. And so one should worship Bali Raja. Now this is again a strange thing that we don't know about, that Bali Raja is supposed to be an Asura. But we don't worship him because of him being Asura. We worship him because of his greatness and his great qualities. So it is said that one should make the figure of Bali having 2 arms, and there should be, you know, do some decoration with 5 colored powders around him. The image also should have various ornaments, and Vindhyavali should be next to Bali, who is the wife of Bali Raja. And various asuras should be there, Kushmanda, Bana, Mura, all of them. And they also should be decorated properly with various ornaments and crown and ear ornaments, etc. And it is said whoever is the king or whoever is the leader or whoever is the main head of the family, but that person should worship Bali Raja. Especially the king should worship the Bali Raja along with his ministers and everybody else with proper puja rituals, everything. Then what is the mantra, what is the shloka to be chanted here? Balirajana mastubhyam virochana sutta prabho bhavishyendra surarate pujeyam pratigruhyatam bhavishyotar Puran says this. And there are various other Puranas. Padma Puran also has this. Nirnay Sindhu also has. Vishnu Dharmottar also has. Why I'm saying all this is in various scriptures it is given. So it was a tradition in our culture to worship Bali Raja today. Because see, Bali Raja, though he was very powerful, he drove out the Asuras, etc. When Vaman Avatar happened, and Bhagwan he told Vaman Bhagwan that I will give you what you seek. Vamanji is dwarf. He is born to Aditya and Kashyap Rishi. Bhagwan came as a Vaman. And then Bali Raja gave a promise saying, I will give you what you seek. You are a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, I will give you what you seek. But then Durvasa Muni realized that he is Vishnu who has come in another form to trick. He said, don't give. Bali Raja said, well, I have given my word, I will stick to it. So Vaman Bhagwan asked him 3 steps, land measuring 3 steps. Bali Raja said, okay, I will give you. And he took some water and he said, I give you in Dan, land occupied by 3 steps. So with the first step, Bhagwan covered the earth. With the second step, he covered the entire higher worlds. Then he said, where do I put my third step? Bali Raja very humbly offered himself. You can put on my head. We know the story. He, he is called Mahabali. Till then he was called Bali. After he offered himself, he is called Mahabali because he offered ego completely. He said, I offer myself. And such a beautiful thing happened. Many people think that, Bali Raja was pushed into the hell, and this is what all people say is Brahmins are suppressing a Asura who is supposed to be a Dalit and all that. What nonsense they talk. They don't know only what the Shastra has said. Bali Raja was pushed into the Sutala Loka, and in Sutala Lok he became the king. Sutala Lok is supposed to be more greater than even Devalok. Bali Raja became the king of Sutala Lok. Bhagwan Vishnu himself became his Dwarpal. Think about it. Bhagwan is his Dwarpal in Sutal Lok. Plus, Bhagwan arranged for satsang for him continuously in Sutal Lok. So he called Prahlad because Bali Raja is the grandson of Prahlad. He called Prahlad and all the other devotees and he said, you give satsang to my devotee inside. I will do the duty of Dwarpal for him because he surrendered himself completely. Now he has made me indebted. So Bhagwan became his Dwarpal. So for this quality of Bali Raja of not compromising, of surrendering himself completely, and how great it is, devotee holds the feet of the Lord most of the time. But here the Lord's feet is on the head of Bali Raja. It will never go. Our grip on the feet of the Lord can change anytime. But Bhagwan's feet on Bali Raja's head, meaning his Ashirwad will always be there. Bali Raja will always be blessed. So that is the day. So this is the day or the Pratipada where Bali Raja is pushed into Sutalalok. And Bhagwan not only made him Sutalalok, the king of Sutalalok, but also told him, you will be the Bhavishya Indra. So from Asuri Yoni, he will be born into Devi Yoni. What did Bali Raja not get? He got mukti because Bhagwan's feet came on his head. He got satsang of the Ananya Bhakta like Prahlad. He got Indra Padavi also. He got Sutalalok Padavi also. And Bhagwan became his Dwarpal. What more does a Jiva want? Freedom from cycle of birth and death to happen the moment Bhagwan's foot came on him and Bali Raja surrendered completely. So Jiva Brahma Ikya, to Brahma Gyan also happened to Bali Raja. So that is why one worships Bali Raja that day, that may these qualities come into us. Now, when one worships Bali Raja, it is said what you do on that day will happen throughout the year. So be very auspicious in your conduct that whole day. And that night also is supposed to be Jagran. So one arranges for drama, spectacles, stories about various great leaders, masters, all that one does. And one also does Dan on that day because Bali Raja did the Dan. And it is said that on that day when you do Dan, Bhagwan Vishnu is pleased very much. So this Bhavishyotar Puran says that this Tithi increases the dominion of Bali. Baths and gifts made on this Tithi in the Kartik Mass yield 100-fold reward. So that day also some Dan, whatever Yatha Shakti one has to do the Dan. Now some places like in Vaman Puran, this Bali Pratipada is also called as Veera Pratipada because this requires a lot of courage and bravery to not compromise from one's convictions. See the new year, how it begins. It begins with this attitude that I will not compromise with my convictions. I will surrender to the Lord. How beautiful is this? These are such nice values. And one will begin with courage and fearlessness that Bhagwan's grace is with me. One begins with charity, generosity. Such a nice way to begin the new year. So this is Veera Pratipada, is called in Vaman Puran. Now that day, people also play game of dice. Now why we play game of dice? So it is said that Shivji, in this Brahma Puran, it is said, Kartike Shukla Pakshetu Prathamehani Satyavan Gitasta Shankaraha Tatra Jayam Lebhe Cha Parvati Tatoham Shankaro Dukhi Gauri Nitya Sukhoshita Tasmadyutam Prakartavyam Prabhate Tatra Manavaihi Tasmin Dyute Jayo Yasya Tasya Samvatsara Shubhaha Parajayo Viruddhascha Labhan Ashakaro Bhave Labhan Ashakaro Bhave. So it is said Shivji and Parvati Devi were playing game of dice, and that Parvati Devi won, and Shivji became sad. And, all his ganas and all of them, they saw Shivji is so sad that he has lost against Mother Parvati. So they try to cheer him up. So if you go to Ellora, even today there is that the rock cut carving is there. The cave number 21. Lord Shiva and Parvati are shown playing the dice. I had been this year sometime in February or something. I saw that. It is there. Beautiful it is. So they are playing with dice and Shivji loses. So it is said on that day, when you play dice, whoever wins will get a lot of benefit, financial benefit through the whole year. And who loses, they will have some loss. So that is one tradition. And that's why people do that. The point is, one should remember the Lord while playing this game. That Shivji and Parvati ji also played. And it is a Leela that Bhagwan did of being Dukhi, and then some people entertaining him, and then again him coming back into the mood. To say that loss and gain keep happening in life. Someday somebody wins, someday somebody loses. Learn to be equanimous throughout and treat it as a game. If you start the new year with this bhav that life is a game, it's a sport. Play, enjoy the play. That is more important. And in that, sukha dukha will come. And no, Shivji is not here shown as Sthita Prajna, who is never affected. He says he's affected, he's dukhi also. So some loss happens in our life, we also feel sad. But then we have to bounce back. So now that is the tradition why one plays this on the Bali Pratipada day. So it is said even on this day, the New Year day, Pratipada day also, one should light the lamp. And the Shastra says here that Bali Rajye Deepa Dana Sada Lakshmi Sthira Bhavet Deepair Nirajana Datra Saisha Deepavali Smrita Bali Rajyam Samasadya Yairna Deepavali Krita Tesham Grihe Katham Deepaha Prajvalishyanti Keshava. Dharma Sindhu says this. So Bali Raje Deepadana Sada Lakshmi Sthira Bhavet. So on the New Year day, if you light the lamp, Lakshmi will be Sthira. So this New Year day lamp lit is the lamp not only of prosperity, but this is the lamp of stability. That on this day, I light this lamp. What should be stable? Wealth should be stable. Our conviction must be stable. Bali Raja was stable in his conviction. He didn't change. So the lamp of stability and this lamp of stability of wealth as well as this conviction, that is the lamp which we light. So Bali Rajya Deepadana Sada Lakshmi Sthira Bhavet Deepair Nirajanadatra Saisha Deepavali Smrita. Hence it is also called Deepavali because continuously we are lighting lamp. One who does not light lamp, then how will there be brightness and brilliance in their home and in their life? So that is the Pratipada day. Then it is also said that in Dharma Sindhu and many other Puranas, it is said on this day also one does the Go Mata Puja. So worship of the cows and the bulls, and Govardhan Parvat is worship. So Govardhan Puja also is done on this day. Uh, and one actually prepares. So with cow dung, etc., cow dung, various other leaves and branches and many things, one actually creates the symbol of Govardhan mountain. Or you worship of image of Lord Krishna holding the Govardhan mountain. So Govardhan Puja is also done on this day. And this day is the chutti for cows and bulls. One should not milk the cow on this day. One should not take the bull for farming on this day. It is the chutti. One should worship them, decorate them. And it is said in this great poet called Devala, he says that by worship of the cow, these three will prosper: the people, the cows, and the king. So one does Gomata Puja, and all of us know cow not only for our culture, our land as an agricultural land, but also as an animal, a very pious animal, a selfless animal whose every part of the body we use for something or the other which is good for the society. So it is symbol of Sattva Guna. So those who are near Govardhan mountain, they worship actual Govardhan mountain. Otherwise, other people they make. And some people they will also make Govardhan from the food. So heaps of cooked food is made, uh, and in that one, as though makes the form of Lord Krishna, Gopala, and one does the puja of Shri Krishna through that Govardhan Parvat. The full Shodashopachara puja one does. The bhav is Bhagwan, you protected all of them, and you transformed their vision from worshipping devatas to worshipping the Lord in the form of Govardhan. So may we also have that vision that all around us is divinity. We take care of everything around us, we worship everything around us, and we seek your refuge as the ultimate supreme Lord of the universe. That we don't have to be scared of anybody. Like the Rajavasis were scared of Indra, and Indra reigned also for 7 days, and Bhagwan protected them. So see beautifully, that day begins with fearlessness, with courage, with the holding up to one's convictions. Such nice day, generosity, all that. New Year day. So Govardhan mountain is worshipped along with Sri Krishna is worshipped. This 16 upacharas one does, the puja, and that Naivedya, because it is offered in a grand scale, it is called Annakut also. Because it is said that Bhagwan held that Govardhan mountain for 7 days on his small finger. And Krishna Bhagwan used to eat 8 times in the whole day. Small meals 8 times in the whole day, from the time he wakes up to the time he sleeps. 7 days, 8 into 7, 56. So Chappan Bhog we offer to Shri Krishna for that. Because 7 days he didn't eat. So Chappan Bhog. So that day Chappan Bhog are offered. And that is what is called the Annakuta. In the Padma Puran also it is said. And one does the parikrama of this Govardhan and the Annakut both. So this is on that day. Then the last day which comes, actually the main Utsav is only these 4 days. Even in the 4, actually 3 only, those 3, 14th, 15th and the first day, that is 3. Then this new year has got added, and then the Bhai Dooj also has got added. So it becomes a festival of 5 days now. Now I told you that this festival is also called Kaumudi Mahotsav, because this Kaumudi Mahotsav, why it is called Kaumudi Mahotsav is also interesting. Because Ku is earth and Mud means to delight. So in which people find delight on the earth amongst themselves, that is called Kaumudi. So why? Because Narakasur also is killed. Earth, Mother Earth also got delighted. Plus all these legends that we saw, Bali Raja, plus Bhagwan Ram returning. Now Bhagwan Ram returning and people lighting the lamps is again a folklore. And in some other versions of Ramayana it may be there, but Valmiki Ramayana doesn't say that this is the day on which the Deepavali was celebrated. It says people were very happy, Bhagwan returned and they had festivities, they decorated the whole place, etc. So that legend also has got associated later on with this. So they say on the Deepavali day, Bhagwan returned from Lanka to Ayodhya after destroying Ravan. So it's a symbol of victory of good over evil. So no, I mean, it's a good bhavana to worship the Lord and celebrate the victory of the Lord and his homecoming. Celebration of his victory actually is Vijayadashmi when Ravan is killed, then his homecoming. Comes back to Ayodhya. And when he returns to Ayodhya, then that actually becomes Ayodhya. Till then it was Yodhya. It was a land of lot of conflict. Because Bhagwan went away, a lot of sorrow, sadness, everything in that place. Now he returned. Again it became Ayodhya, land of no conflict. 500 years we waited. Now, hopefully next year, maybe Mandir is built or maybe year after that, whatever time it takes. But at least the conflict is solved. That verdict came and then that conflict is solved. Last year that verdict came. And the Shilanyas happened this year, most auspicious. So these are 4 days that we saw. Now the last day, I'm just going to take 10 minutes more and we will conclude. Now in the Mahabharata, it is said very nicely in the Anushasana Parva. See, this lighting of the lamps is also called Deepadan. Like Ulkadan is there, like that Deepadan is done. So this Deepadan, so Mahabharata says this, whoever does this Deepadan, the donor of the lamp shines in the heavens like a row of lights. Deepa Prada Swarga Loke Deepamaleva Rajate. Anushasana Parva 98.51. So some people use this also as a reference to say that Deepavali was being celebrated even during Mahabharata times. Now comes the Dvitiya. So on the Dvitiya day, that is called Bhratru Dvitiya or Yama Dvitiya. It's very interesting. It starts with Yama and ends with Yama. It starts with the Deepadan to Yama on the Trayodashi evening and ends with Yamaraj. We think Yamaraj means death and inauspicious and oh terrible. But Yamaraj is Dharmaraj also. So the ending of the festival is with Yama Dvitiya. So what happens on this day? Yama and Yami, they are children. They are brothers and sisters. Yami is Yamuna Devi. So on this Yama Dvitiya, in the afternoon, the tradition says in the afternoon, the brother must visit the house of the sister, and together both of them should worship Yamaraj for his grace, blessings to follow dharma, and his protection from the fear of death, and further after that the journey where we have to go to Yamalok. So for the grace of Lord Yama, one invokes. So brother and sister both worship. Because the story is that Yamaraj went to the home of Yamuna Devi that day and had the meal there. And he was very happy and he said to Yamuna Devi, ask something that you like. And Yamuna Devi said that whichever brother comes to the home of the sister that day and has the food and together they worship you, may their house be filled with prosperity, may they have no fear, may they live with righteousness, etc. So give me that boon ki all such people will be blessed. So that is the story. Now it is said that on that day one should not take the meal. The brother should not take the meal through the day till one goes to the house of the sister and worships Yamaraj, and then the sister feeds the brother. Now, one tradition also maybe because in earlier days the sister gets married, goes to maybe same village, maybe or maybe some other village or maybe some other city also, and travel was not so easy. So at least once a year the brother would visit, meet the sister. The sister would also feel good that brother has come to meet, etc. So that may be the social aspect also to it, but this is the spiritual aspect that the brother brings gifts for the sister, and the sister should be honored with golden ornaments, clothes, meals. And if one does not have a sister, then what one should do? One should honor a woman who he regards as sister. It may be uncle's or aunt's daughter or a friend's sister. And further, it says that then one should worship Yama and Yamuna and also worship Chitragupta. Chitragupta also is one avatar of Yama only. He keeps our accounts. He is our accountant. Of all our karmas, he keeps accounts. And according to that, which karma gives result when, accordingly one will get the birth, accordingly one will get the gati, swarga, naraka, all that. So one worships this Chitragupta also, and one offers arghya to all of them. That is the tradition on that day. Now, as I said, most of this we have forgotten. For Bhai Dooj, people have celebration and it will not be on that day. Even if it is on that day, they just meet each other, exchange some gifts and eat some food, have some good time and return. Or they won't even do on that day, they will do on some preceding Sunday or succeeding Sunday, or sometimes even after 2 weeks. As I said, enjoyment, whenever one wants to do, one can do, but one should remember some of these beautiful aspects. And what is the bhavana? You see, I'm going to end with that bhavana part here. That when they worship Yamaraj and they offer flowers, they offer arghya, etc., what is the shloka that they chant? Ehi ehi martanda japasha hasta yamanta kaloka dharamaresha bhratridvitiya kritadeva pujam grihana chargyam bhagavan namaste. Kritya Tattva says this. That, oh Lord Yama, you please come here. You who has a noose in your hand. You are called the end, Yama Anta. You are the end of all beings. Yamanta Kalo. And you are immortal. You are the end of everybody, but you are by yourself immortal. On this Bhratri Dvitiya, the worship that I am offering to you, please accept that and bless all of us. Then Dharmaraja namastestu namaste Yamunagraja pahi mam kinkarai sardham Surya putra namostute Yamasarva Yamasvasur namastestu Yamune loka pujite Varada bhava me nityam Surya putri namostute. So both Yama and Yamuna, both of them are worshipped through this shloka. Salutations to you, O Dharmaraj. And you are the elder brother of Yamunaji, Yamunagraja. Pahimam Kinkarai Sardham. Please protect me along with all my family members, including my servants, everybody. Surya Putra, you are the son of Surya. Please bless me. Salutations to you. Then, O Yamuna Devi, salutations to you. You are renowned in the whole world. Loka Pujite, because Krishna Bhagavan played on her banks. And she is a daughter of Surya Bhagavan. So you are world renowned. Varada bhava me nityam. Please bless me all the time. Surya Putri namostute. Salutations to you, O Surya Putri. So in this way, one worships. And both of them also pray to Yamaraj for each other's well-being. For their long life, for their well-being, for their prosperity. All that happens. And on that day, together, both of them should also remember 8 Chiranjeevis of our culture. And they see, these are shlokas to chant on those days. Markandeyo Balirvyaso Hanumanscha Vibhishanaha Kripo Drauni Parshurama eteshtau chirajeevinaha. Markandeya Rishi, Bali Raja, Vyasa Maharshi, Hanuman, Vibhishan, Kripacharya, Drauni means Ashwathama and Parshuram. 8 Chiranjeevis. There are not 7, there are 8 Chiranjeevis. There's another shloka which says Saptaite Chirajeevinaha, but actually there are 8, not 7. Why? Because one should remember there's something called immortality. That Yamaraj is not the only end. There is something beyond Yamaraj also. Physically, though these 8 are Chiranjeevis, but beyond Yamaraj is that state of absolute truth, which is the immortal state of our true nature. So the festival ends with that. It starts with showing lamp to Yamaraj. It ends with the bhavana that may I discover immortality, and all the in-between days are the preparations and sadhanas to purify our mind. The brother, before he goes to the sister's house, should chant the names of Lord Yama. What I said earlier, those names, 14 names, that he should chant and go. And then then he goes there, and then they both of them, they worship. And it is also said that there is this Yama Yami Stuti is also there in Rig Veda. Rig Veda 10.10. So there's a Vedic Stuti also for them. So it's a tradition of a long time. Rig Veda is supposed to be the oldest Veda. So these are various beautiful traditions. Finally, it says in Bhavishottara and Padma Puran that he who eats a meal prepared by his sister's hand on this Yamadvitiya, on the day on which King Yama was served in this world a meal by Yamuna, through affection secures wealth and the best of food and prosperity. So these are beautiful traditions of our culture. The fifth day, the lamp of brotherhood. One is the bonding between sister and brother. And both of them are praying for the safety of each other, protection of Yamaraj, both of them are invoking. And also, if you extend it, it is brotherhood towards all the beings also. One prays for fearlessness of all the beings. So wish you all a very, very happy Shubh Deepavali, Shubh Sukharatri, Shubha Naraka Chaturdashi, Shubha Pratipada, and Shubha Yamadvitiya. All the 5 days, may they be very auspicious to all of us. May we grow in our spiritual illumination and ultimately realize our absolute self. So we will stop our satsang here today. 8:17 it is. If anybody has any questions, then you can ask. Hadi. Sonali ji, you can unmute and ask.
Swami ji, just
Yes.
wanted to know कि Lakshmi Puja wale दिन we will do this the puja in the same way you had done for the
Yeah.
Navaratri
Same,
and
same puja.
same way and
Only difference is little difference is if somebody still believes in that tradition of Chopada Pujan, then one also keeps the Chopada, the accounts book, and one draws the Shubh Labh, that swastik and Shubh Labh and all that on those books. Nowadays everything is in printer, one prints or even in soft copy one submits the accounts. So then one just takes as a symbol one book and then does that.
that's right. And
Otherwise
one
everything else is same.
same one more thing कि जब हम wind up करते हैं, how do we wind up the puja? Like वो सब होने के बाद जब हम उठाते हैं, फिर वो how do we do that?
See, in the puja, the last step is anyway, we say that, oh Lord, please forgive me for any errors of omission, commission, etc. and bless me with the full fruit of the puja. And then one does the Udvasanam, where one reposes the Lord back into one's heart, and then one chants the Shanti mantra for the well-being of everybody. So that is how one concludes the puja. If you are asking what happens after that,
like for example Lakshmi Pujan, we do it on that Amavasya din, as you said. Uske baad mein, should we keep that all those puja for a day or two and continue with it, as you said,
yeah,
for 5 days? Yeah,
next morning you can remove.
next morning we'll do.
Next morning you can remove, because Lakshmi goes away in the night. So you can remove next morning if you like. There is no problem with that. You don't need to keep for the New Year day. That is not required.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Okay, so now is Zoom free time. Everyone, please put on your video. Actually, I should have told all of you to light a lamp. It didn't strike me at all. Okay, everybody say Happy Deepavali. One minute. Yes, done. Thank you, everyone. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Some of these shlokas I will take some pictures and put it on the group. Then whichever day, whatever shloka has to be chanted, then you can chant. Thank you. Hari Om.